has been a hot second since I've tried to do this. Um, I'm Hannah. I'm 27. I work in libraries. I taught myself how to knit when I don't really know, but I used a book and a pair of chopsticks, and I've kind of just been knitting since. I have had a pretty drastic increase in just skill level in the last, let's say, 5 to 10 years, just because I wasn't 8 and trying to teach myself off a book. And yeah, basically, I'm thinking I'm gonna chat through a few of the things that I've been making recently. I've been really into spinning. I was really fortunate in that I was able to get an e-spinner, the Ashford e-spinner 3, I think. And I've just been having a lot of fun with that. I might see if I can start with that. Um, Everything is also balanced just super precariously on a box, and then the phone is on a tripod. So I'm trying not to move too much, because that won't end anything. But Briar Patch, they sell fiber, but they sell it in it's natural, it's not dyed, the ones that I've gotten, and they name the sheep that it's from. So in my case, I've picked up these from Hilda, and forgive me, I don't actually remember what microns it is. I think it's 22.5. I'll double check. But this was probably my first time. Like, I learned a lot about spinning just in the process of doing this. I got 6 bags. Again, I don't quite remember what each bag was. Basically, it came in like a round ball, and one of these bags, and I got 6 of these bags. I've since spun almost everything up. I'll just show you. I'm really happy with the organization for this because it just fits in. You know when something fits in really perfectly and you just feel kind of satisfied about it? This is what that feels like. So I guess I'll just show you. This is wound in balls, and then this is the box that it's in. So basically, 1, 2, 3. It stacks perfectly. It brings me such joy. Look. 3. Oh yeah. I have a bunch of yarn that I spun, and it was my first attempt, so it's not fantastic. And I was wondering about what I should do with it. I made I crocheted essentially like little dumpling shaped things, and I stuffed it with some uh fiber that got felted together. And I've put some like cedar oil and lavender essential oil on it just to keep the moths away and to keep it smelling nice. The context also for the stuffing of the little dumplings is I spun a lot. It was a lot of yarn. And I run it through I don't there's like a spin cycle. It's there's no rinsing, you just spin it. And I just find that it helps everything dry a lot faster. Um it got run by someone not me, and it felted everything together, and I like someone suggested on Insta that I should hold like a funeral for it. I was debating as to whether I should literally bury the corpse of my skein, just because it's undyed yarn, and I hear that's really good for just the garden. Um, it ended up being stuffing, so it's functional, it's useful, and it remains in my yarn stash. With this, essentially, I aimed for a DK. It's not consistent. So this is probably actually not one of my better ones, but I'm also like, so yeah, this is definitely not one of my better ones. But yeah, it's almost a worsted sponge, like thickness really. I think that's tin ply, is what other people call it. But I was thinking of making a oversized, kind of baggy, either fully garter stitch or garter at the shoulders, and then at the body, you switch to brioche. So the idea is for it to be very squishy, very comfy. Um, and I had the dream of calling it like the Kath's Hug cardigan, because there's a gal called Kath and she gives the best hugs. So I wanted to cut it to kind of embody the idea of just something warm and comforting. But I am very new to fashion designing, and I I struggled a lot with the last cardigan that I tried. So the idea there is I'm actually having a bag over there. Um, I will bring it. It will be useful if I bring it. I have to move carefully, otherwise the entire bed moves. So, um, two of my friends got engaged. They were engaged, when I, they were engaged when I last, when I first began this project. They are now since married. So I had the idea. They're very, both of them are very long people. They're long and slender. They have two Tonkinese cats, and so also long cats, and then also like they're kind of elvish, both of them. So I had this dream of making a sweater and cardigan set and calling it the Elven Tonkinese duo. I got I had ideas. It's just I run into so many problems with this because it is my first cardigan design work that I've lost some motivation. Which is a crying shame because it's the idea. Okay, so basically, I'll show you. This is one of the things that I really struggle with this cardigan design is just the girl for whom I'm designing the cardigan is a lot taller than me, and I've never made garment for someone who isn't in my family, and quite frankly, we're all really short in my family. Like I come by this hobbit nature, honestly, but Fanya is really tall, and I really struggled with the shoulder to neck to kind of V-neck ratio. And I also really worried about the pocket placement, because every time I'd hold it up and I'd be like, this seems like it just the ratios don't work. She did send me measurements of her favorite cardigan, and so by that logic it should have, but it just freaked me out consistently. Um, but the idea for this is so you have a very simple what is it? Pill 1, knit 4, pill 1. So it's like a kind of very simple ribbing, insert pockets. It's got a contrast color pocket in it. That would be the main color of the sweater. And then, so really simple, like loose cables. The idea for the matching sweater was to have the body of the cardigan in reverse. So you'd have pill 4, knit 1, and then there would be a breast pocket, which would have the contrast color of the screen. Sorry, and the corresponding sweater would be the brown of this inner pocket. Um, I just ran into so many, and I just ran into so many issues that it's kind of really discouraged or killed my drive to keep doing this. Um, I also find because like with knitting, if you make a mistake, that's easily tens of hours down the drain. Um, I would say this has been closer to it's 100 and something, just because I've made mistakes and I've ripped it back, and I really struggled with because I am making it for someone else. I nitpick on details that I otherwise wouldn't care about if it were for me. So I remember like I don't know, I think I did a miscount in the cables and at some point, and I just ripped back the whole thing, and that was like I don't know, 15 hours work. I wouldn't have done that if it were a piece for me. Um, this, by the way, the yarn, because I actually I got a lot of questions about it when I posted on Insta. The color's not quite, that's not quite a true color, but it's really beautiful. It's from Wild Earth Yarns. It is their Ashen Polworth DK in the shade Willow. Um, I have a spare bowl of it somewhere, but I don't know where. So, yeah. Um, and then this, the corresponding brown color. None of this is color true. I think my camera isn't quite showing it up, but this is it's one of their natural colors. It's not dyed. I think it's in the shade Portobello, like the mushroom. But yeah, this is a project that I don't think I'll be finishing. I actually need to message them and being like, hey guys, I did my best. Um, and they'll be so nice about it. Quite frankly, they weren't expecting me to do this at all. Um, yeah, they'll be like, it's a thought that counts. We really appreciate it. But I'm kind of bummed about it, both in terms of like, I had a nice thought that I couldn't complete, but also like in terms of I had a lot of discouragements when we were trying to design and make that, and yeah, it is just simply discouraging to have to rip back or give up on like work that you've put 100 and something hours in. But yeah, I think I'd rather focus on projects that bring me joy, and right now that is not it. I am gonna reuse that yarn though. It's really pretty color, like my favorite kind of green. Okay, this is a pattern design that I made that actually worked out. It is so I call it the soft academia cardigan. It's like a checkered pattern. It's got blah 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 blah. This first because this is the first one I made when I was trying to work out the pattern design. With the double knitted bottom band, I thought I had the idea of corresponding the squares to the body of the cardigan. Um, I didn't do that in the second one that I used to film the tutorial video. And it has contrast pockets, inset pockets, contrast, and two color ribbing, 2x2 ribbing. So this is yeah, this is essentially what it looks like really, and then the back of it. I think I have a video of me wearing it. If I do, I will insert it because this really isn't showing you very much of what the garment looks like. Ah, okay, with this one. This over here is basically, I decided when I was maybe 30, 40, 50 centimeters, because it's a bottom-up cardigan, unfortunately, into the cardigan that I wanted the ribbing at the bottom to be shorter. So I did this weird thing where I kind of tried to make a lifeline, and then I cut off some of the, like, I cut off that much of the bottom fabric, and I picked up the stitches to do the ribbing again from where I wanted it to start. But I had these long, I still don't quite know where they came from, but I had these long like loops that I needed to take care of, so I just crocheted them into the back, especially because it's color knitting. So I just looped it into the various like yarn that I'd carried around the back. Yeah, I have filmed a full video tutorial on how to make it. Um, and I filmed this 6 months ago. I've just not edited it. It's been sitting in my hard drive, and a part of the issue is I filmed it in 4K because my phone does 4K, but I have like I have a Microsoft Surface Pro, which is technically a tablet. I got it for uni, and it can't handle 4K. It stutters, and I um I think the having to deal with because some of it is in 1080. That it can my little tablet can manage. The 4K it cannot. So I think editing the tutorial in its whole, because this is a full tutorial. It starts from the ribbing to how you do the body to the sleeves. Like it's a full thing. I just think that editing process will be really frustrating. But this is done in Nutiden. Oh, sorry. Isager Tweed, Aaron Wait, and I've forgotten the colors. I think it's Sand and Nougat, but I will include in the description because I've likely not gotten that right. This is in Nutiden. It's so warm. Like, it's so warm and so fluffy. This one is a bit more oversized than that last one because I was trying to do two different sizes. It's the same deal though. Like, oh, the color, by the way, is the darker shade is two negatives makes a positive. The lighter one, I don't quite recall, but again, I will insert. I do really like heather tones, if you couldn't tell by the everything I've carried so far. Like even the green, that is heathered. But yeah, same deal. This is really warm. Uh, I can wear this by itself, and just because the yarn is so fluffy and catches, like it traps a lot of the air, it's really light as well. Um, I pretty much only need to wear that if there's no wind, and the wind isn't like cutting through my layers. You'll notice that for this one, I stuck with a single color for the double knitted button band. I think I prefer the look of it, to be honest. I think I prefer the one color. And same deal, contrast pocket lining. I actually need to wear this more. It's been summer in New Zealand, so I've not been wearing my knits very much. I also got a back tattoo, so I'm like everything I wear needs to be backless. But yeah, it is approaching. I think we're in March, so we're in autumn right now. Um, so yeah, these bad boys are gonna come back out. I've only got a couple more things left, really, in terms of what I've been making recently. Um, because you know we're not like production machines and we have life commitments. But the so this is something I spun. It's from Anna Grattan. It's 80% Corriedale, and that is again not color true. It's 80% Corriedale and 20% silk. And that's the silk is a really fun color pops. Um, I This is spun after having not spun anything for a while. So I'd say I did the stuff from Briar Patch maybe easily 2 months ago. And I started this again 2 weeks ago. So it's also got the added factor of having silk, and quite frankly, the added factor of me just being very new to spinning, just full stop. So the width of the thickness of the yarn varies considerably. I was also asking on Instagram because this is not my usual color palette, and I only have 100 grams of this. Like, what do you guys do with this? The only thing I could think of was to make a beanie, but I don't know. I'm really, really particular about my clothes. And I just know that I would not wear a beanie made of this yarn so much. Just because of the flecks of color, I tend to be very like earth tone or monochromatic. If you have any suggestions, I would really welcome that. I was leaning towards see even now I'm like that's DK, but then that right next to it is worsted plus. Uh, but yeah, I was thinking of making a pouch. I'm knitting a pouch or something for it because I use pouches for everything. Like especially because I have a fairly long commute to work. So all my cables and stuff I like to wind up in pouches so they don't get tangled or broken. So I could make a pouch out of that. But just want to add as but yeah, besides the point. Um I finally in terms of spinning, I also have this. It says machine washable 200 grams. I think it was $4, which is like, this is acrylic. I mean, like, if it says machine washable, it's either what is it? I can't think of the word all of a sudden, but you know when you can chuck it into a washing machine, and it's kind of covered in plastic, got that like squeaky feeling. It's either that or it's just plain acrylic. This is that. It's so soft. It's so soft. It is much harder to spin than natural yarn, natural wool. But the goal for this was to spin it, ideally again DK-ish. But I really wanted to make a giant shawl. Um, One of the things that I've been thinking recently is I think I might go for a year of selfish knitting. Just make the things that I wanted to make for myself, and yeah, not be spread out in my time or attention so much. This one, I kind of want it to be like a really like drapey kind of white shawl with cables. Again, the office where I work in libraries. The office where I work, the aircon is horrible. I remember someone was like, "It's fixed." I'm like, "If this is fixed, then hell is real." The goal for me is to I have a literal blanket there, but I kind of wanna have shawls that I can keep there. So I'm like, I have to be thematically consistent. It has to be like hand knitted. So yeah, that is the plan for that. But just because it takes a while to spin and knit, and I kind of want to design my own thing for that as well. I think it might take quite a bit of time. And finally, this. So this is Fiber Spates. I forgot the name, but I'll link it. I think it's Scrumptious. Um, it's got a really high silk content, and it's very it's loosely twisted or loosely yeah. So they do say knit tight to avoid pilling. Um, it's super drapey, as I'm sure you can imagine, and really soft. I do feel it will pill regardless because I'm using I think this is technically either a DK or a sport weight yarn. I'm using 3 millimeter needles for it, and even that I'm pretty sure it's gonna pill. But I started this. It's literally like I just made a garter tab. Where is it? I'm in the middle of a row, so it's really hard to show you. I made a garter tab. It's just pure garter. Um, increases at the middle, two at the middle, one on each end, and only on the increases only on the right side. Um, yeah, I've been calling this my like kind of self care knitting. The context for this one is I met someone who I thought was really cool, and it didn't work out. We'd not known each other for very long, but it just really sucked. And yeah, I was just like, well, I'm going to do some self care knitting, and that's where this started. Because this was originally the yarn was intended as a gift for somebody else, and I thought I like it. I bought it because I thought it was beautiful. I'm going to use it for myself. Yeah, like a wee apple, ain't he? Yeah, I think that's about it for me. I hope you have a lovely day, and thank you for watching.